Please don't leave that in.
Here we are on A Star to Steer Her By's podcast number 76. As you remember me from all of our other letter correspondence over the past months, this is Ames.
And this is Caitlin.
And this is Jake.
And this is Chris.
Whoa.
We miss you very much and hope you'll save our stupid planet from exploding. Speaking of which, that's the plot of the episode Pen Pals. We'll also be talking about Q Who today. In Pen Pals, a young girl, Sarjenka, starts a pen pal correspondence with Data over her computer radio machine. She lives on planet Dreama 4. This sounds very familiar, Data. I hope you'll save us soon. Wesley, meanwhile, is leading a team. Who thought that was a good idea?
Literally everybody. Apparently.
No, I think they just wanted to get rid of him.
Oh, fair enough. Literally no one.
and they do some tests on this planet and realize everything's shit. But Data really wants to save his friend who is going to die on this horrible planet that's going to collapse itself. And somehow they decide, let's rewrite the Prime Directive again, which is a thing that happens all the goddamn time on this thing. So they save Sarjenka, they blast some things at the planet to make it not blow up anymore. They wipe Sarjenka's mind so that they can send her back with a new rock she liked. And that's the end of that episode, kind of.
And I'm on a horse.
Our other episode I wanted to tell you about, Data, which has less to do with what I need you to save on our planet, but is also a terrifying story, is Q Who, which features an ensign that no one likes, and fuck her 9 times.
Ugh.
Sonia Gomez.
But also, Q decides the Enterprise is his new buddy and he wants to be on board, and Picard says no, so Q throws a fit and says, well, you aren't ready for space anyway. See, look. And then he introduces them to the Borg, who fuck their shit a lot and keep fucking their shit a lot, and then fuck some more of their shit. A lot. Until Picard's like, our shit keeps getting fucked, and we haven't learned very much except that our shit's gonna get more fucked. Q, please help us. And Q's like, okay. And brings them back to their normal place.
Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Only hope.
The end. I hope you write back soon, Data, and save our ships, because we're gonna die as much as the Borg people would do. The end.
Well, it got a little weird at the end there, but that was a very nice letter.
Yeah, that was very good.
My Sharona.
Pen Pals. I found it odd that, this episode is ostensibly about Data and the little girl, but that really doesn't seem to come up all that much until about halfway through, I felt.
The timeline was very confusing to me. Because at some point, Data goes to Picard while Picard is horsing around. And he tells Picard, for like the last 8 weeks, I've been talking with this girl over the internet radio.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like midway through the episode, because we already saw him.
Yeah, but we saw him the first time.
Message.
And that was after Wesley had assembled his team. So has Wesley had his team for 8 weeks?
Yeah,
he must have.
That was the idea. They weren't just surveying one planet; they were surveying a whole
system.
section of space. Like that was the whole thing, was that the region of space was.
And in 8 weeks, the people still don't take Wesley seriously?
Would you? I mean, we've been watching for a season and a half, and we don't take him seriously, to be fair.
I think they did. It was
just that one shit stir. That one guy.
But he wasn't even like. I think the end.
He tries to start shit right at the beginning.
I wouldn't be surprised though if
Davies was his name.
Davies. If Riker or somebody had gone to them and been like, give Wesley a hard time.
Give him some conflict to resolve.
Because, because it was almost like he was testing Wesley's ability to not, to stand his ground.
Yeah, because once he came and just gave the order, he was like,
all
sounds
right.
good.
Yeah, I kind of was surprised at that, so that's actually a pretty good theory, because I was like, I feel like this fucking shit stirrer would, fight back, but he didn't at all.
Yeah, it was just like, it was like when because when he first came there, he wanted to challenge Wesley on his choice.
It's also been 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been 8 weeks since Wesley gave him the first order, and he was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea, Wesley. Maybe not do that. And Wesley was like, oh, okay. 8 weeks later, Wesley's like, hey, let's try this thing now. And it's like, yeah, it's been 8 weeks. I might as well do this thing now.
Was it? I don't know if it was 8 weeks.
Yeah, no, I think it was
the orders.
Okay, in that case,
Yeah,
I'm
'cause that
very
was later.
confused by
I felt
the
like it was the
timeline of
next
this
day
episode.
or something.
Yeah,
I
no,
felt
the
like
timeline
he
was
was
like-
like, Riker, they don't take me seriously. And Riker was like, just put your foot down, you pussy.
Wear
and
a
he's like,
different sweater.
okay. And then he goes and does. The next day, it was sort of my read. It might have even been the same later that same day.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was. I think
Just
the
need a little
timeline
pep talk.
was more or less. He formed the team, and then at some point over the next 8 weeks, he had the let's do the scan for this, and then went to Riker, went and solved his problem, came back, said yeah, let's do it, and then we had to help Data with his problem and explain to him in no uncertain terms how talking to little girls on the internet is not appropriate behavior.
If it were anyone but Data, it would be a really, really weird gray area. But
Still
with
kinda
Data,
weird.
the thing is, and I think the scriptwriter Melinda Snodgrass was the one that convinced everyone in the idea of this episode. It's got to be Data that gets in touch with the girl, because if someone asked him if someone's out there, he would have to say yes, because he'd have to answer the question, because it's a question posed to him.
Yeah.
And it would, continue in the theme that Data has this innocent naivete kind of a thing going on.
Yeah.
It still doesn't make a ton of sense though that Data would be that dumb.
It's not dumb.
It's dumb to... He knows the Prime Directive,
Yes, that's true.
But he's learning some humanity, and he's not able to turn away from someone who needs help.
I mean, that's what I think it is at first, he's open contact, and he's sort of run with it, and it does sound like until it turns into this thing where it's like, oh god, their planet's about to explode, he was just on the right side of the Prime Directive.
I mean, he was chit-chatting with a girl...
Well, right, but he wasn't...
pre-contact world.
He wasn't giving away the fact that he was a spaceman.
that we know of.
He says he didn't, and I choose to take him at his word.
Yeah, I mean...
Data doesn't lie. He's not a Vulcan.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It wasn't like... the place I'm confused is when we first... I feel like the first hint we get of this storyline is when he's playing on the bridge with his toys, and Worf's like...
He's got a hobby now.
Clean up your toys.
He's working with crafts.
And then it's not until after that he makes contact with the little girl.
Yeah, when he's in his room.
So he was like doing some ham radio shit.
Yeah.
And then makes contact with the girl.
Well, I think the ham radio was it's funny, I actually also said ham radio. Was just one of the many things that sort of was a result of his experiments with the scanners. It's just that one ended up being the one that was pertinent to the plot. But he was actually basically just boosting the scanners in general and somehow changing the way they scanned for stuff.
Also, is that girl the only person on that planet with access to a radio? Because, assuming it's not a point-to-point thing, that's like a broadcast, or not a broadcast, but like a...
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. Yes, she is.
Well, I mean, they got those weird magic doors, though. They seem like they do have a decent amount of tech.
Yeah, maybe her family's the only people on the whole planet.
No, she probably just adjusted the frequency to one that people don't use.
She's that planet's Wesley.
Yeah, she took
That could
an
be.
ordinary ham radio and turned it into an interstellar ham
Think
radio.
about what she's going to do with that fancy singing rock.
Oh, man.
Probably get really sick of
Probably.
the song it sings for her really quick and throw it away.
Children for you.
I actually really liked that idea. I wish that was a real thing.
The singing,
The singing
rock?
rock? Or
Yeah.
throwing it away?
No, the singing rock. I really like that as an idea.
That it sings a different song for every
For
person.
everybody, it's kind of
Except
it's kind
Data.
of sweet and romantic. It's because he's not people.
It's also probably pretty rare.
And Data,
Data
stole
stole
it
it.
from
Yep.
Pulaski. Why didn't you just have it out?
It's not like a
Yeah,
paperweight.
it was like a desk tchotchke.
Yeah.
Well, it couldn't have been that valuable then.
We
you don't
have-
use the world's biggest diamond as a fucking paperweight, do you?
We have Funko Pops. They've got singing rocks.
But yeah, I mean, this episode's interesting because I do feel like... I'm not going to say it's a great episode, but it also was pretty solid.
Yeah, that's what, I know when I looked at, the screenshot that they have of it up on Netflix, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
Yes, I felt the same way.
But
Yeah.
honestly, when you look closer at Sarjenka, her makeup is actually pretty good for something you have to apply to a child.
Yeah.
They got a child to sit still to put that shit on her.
Yeah, Jesus.
Damn good. I liked what they did with her fingers. I liked what they did with her voice.
So, Yeah, we get to fuck around with the Prime Directive a little this week.
As usual. Every week we do this. Every week is a new version of the Prime Directive, which is why they have to keep having these meetings to be like, what is it today? No one fucking knows what it is.
Oh, it's just like...
What do we feel it is this week? Troy, help.
If you're in Starfleet, like at least once a week, there's a new email from Command. All right, guys, here's what the Prime Directive is now.
We found another thing that we wanted to change about
You know what really
and that's if there's a child, you can fuck it up.
Here...
Yeah. Not the child! No! Not the child! The directive. I swear.
I think at the end of the day, Picard knew it would be fine. Because when he writes his report, Starfleet's gonna be like, what did you... with the Prime... Why? And he's like, hey, it's alright. We saved a planet that is like 95% dilithium. Oh, okay. Thumbs up. Hopefully they get warp drive soon, by which means we'll just give it to them. We want that dilithium. Because that was the thing, that the big reveal was that all the fuck-uppery was because all those planets apparently all had way too much dilithium.
Yeah.
Wait, is that actually what happened?
That's what I said, yeah.
That's what Davies found because of that test that Wesley asked him to do.
Yeah, the planets were like lousy with dilithium, so much so that the crystals were growing in an odd formation, which was fucking up all the planet's tectonic shit.
In that conference room, we have Wesley's team. We have 3 members and Wesley of his team.
Yep.
He originally had 4 members of that team.
Yes, he did.
Where's the 4th one?
O'Brien beamed him into space.
O'Brien beamed him into space?
It was
But
the husband-wife team that he was cautioned against.
Yeah.
Maybe the husband actually killed the wife, and Wesley's concerned that what if one of them dies? That would be a big problem. Actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good... I hadn't caught that, though. That's a good catch.
Maybe one of them was in the shitter.
You want to be at this conference, though. They'd wait. Or beam it out of you.
Yeah. I mean, Wesley wasn't horrible this episode, I didn't think.
He did all right.
Yeah, it was another appropriate use of Wesley being like, okay, what do we do with him other than when he, like last week, notices Worf is acting funny and has to fucking go crazy at him.
But can you fucking imagine if you went,
to your job
4 years of Starfleet
in
Academy,
an odd number of days.
You worked your whole career, got appointed to the Federation flagship under one of the most storied captains in the fleet.
Everyone wants
and
the USS
your
Enterprise.
boss
Even
is a
Sonia
teenager.
Gomez.
So it's like getting a part-time job when you're 60, and like the cashier's manager is 22.
Yeah.
Dave, why don't you not put all the heavy things in one bag? Yes, sir, boss. Yes, sir, boss. My bad on that one. Dave, you're taking too many bathroom breaks now. You're right, boss. I'm really sorry. It's the enlarged prostate.
I'll just shit my pants.
Yeah, that's what I would be pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
It'd be like the intern at your job getting put in charge of you.
That's why Davies' reaction was relatively normal. Like, understanding, like, oh, Wesley's going to be leading us. Wesley, if you fuck up, and when I say if, I mean when, I'll just do the work for you. It's no big deal.
Although
I've done it a million times.
I must question Davies' credentials, because it seems like his opinion of geology is blowing up rocks. Like, that's the one thing we see. He puts a rock in a tube.
Geology.
Yeah, he puts a rock in a tube, turns it into smoke, and looks really happy.
That's pretty much what a crack addict does. That's actually exactly what a crack addict does.
And looks really happy. Oh, you've broken Chris again. This is another new laugh.
You were setting that joke up, right?
No.
You put the rock in the tube, turn it into smoke, and then look really happy.
Serendipitous.
Yeah.
There was the Prime Directive conference in Picard's quarters where snacks were served.
Nice.
Which I thought was hysterical.
Looked like crumpets.
When we were having this Prime Directive conference, are they the fucking Supreme Court of the Prime Directive and they can just decide how it applies every time? Or do they have to ask Starfleet? Because the Prime Directive is a thing that exists. That the law is written down, and I'm sure there's someone that can interpret it for you.
I'm going to guess that the Prime Directive is kind of like the motto. Like, it's not actually a law. It's like in God we trust, or some, you know,
E pluribus unum.
E pluribus unum. Don't fuck with other species.
Keep off the grass.
It's just a
Oh, sorry,
guideline.
Wesley,
It's
you've already
just
broken that one.
Curb your dog.
But yeah, I mean, honestly,
No, you know what it
take
is?
away the fact with the child, but just saving the planet alone is a huge violation. I mean, a massive violation, right?
Which, it's interesting, because, like, why shouldn't you be able to do that?
Save the planet?
Yeah, because, like,
Save the cheerleader?
it's one thing, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, for another example, you know, if we jump to the Kelvin timeline in Star Trek Into Darkness, you know, there may be a better example, but this is the one I can think of. Kirk, you know, gets into trouble because he mounts that whole mission to save that small group of people on this planet from a volcano.
Not the first thing he mounted.
Yeah, he got in a shitload of, like, way too much trouble for that.
But, you know,
Didn't he get fired?
I think they were planning on... They would have had a big old disciplinary hearing if Benedict Cumberbatch didn't then go all, like, terrorist on their
But I
asses.
thought he got demoted and Spock got reassigned. Or no. Pike came back. That was what it was.
Something like that, yeah. But I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was this whole big to-do, and I suppose you could maybe argue that in that case they were potentially interfering with the planet's future because, you know, maybe now that this specific group had been saved, another could have their own advancement fucked with because these people are alive. But in this episode, you have a case of the entire planet's gonna go kerplody. So it's like, you know, it's one thing to interfere with a species' development, it's another to make it so they can actually develop, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's Prime Directive arguments. I can see it either way, right? Because on one hand, it seems incredibly short-sighted and kind of elitist or like playing God, right? But then on the other hand, you have the example of like the Indians, like, you know, like that was, didn't Picard cite that a few weeks ago?
What?
Like, oh, you know, when European settlers encountered the Indians and they slaughtered them and it like really fucked up their civilization.
I don't think
I'm
so.
making that up in my brain.
That might be something else you watched.
Maybe. I feel like there was I feel like it was Picard, but someone was making.
Was it John Oliver? You could just watch a bunch of John Oliver.
I don't know.
And he's got a British accent.
Were
That's true.
you making the mistake of watching Insurrection?
Oh, what he said was that every time a more advanced civilization encountered a less advanced.
Was it Nagilum? Was he talking to Nagilum?
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah,
But every time in Earth's history, when a more advanced civilization encountered a less advanced civilization, the less advanced civilization got basically wiped out.
Yeah.
And that's the argument for the Prime Directive.
But that's not a good argument because in the 24th century we've evolved beyond that kind of chicanery. So
In theory.
You'd think that, but
But we've got a long list of evil Starfleet admirals to introduce you to.
yeah, but luckily the admirals don't really fly around that much anymore, and the captains are kind of handling it. And so far they've seemed pretty cool.
But yeah, I think it's interesting too because I mean I know I brought this up during our 10 forward about Discovery, but in the first episode of that one, you know, there's the whole thing where they introduce us to Burnham and Giorgio by having them unplug a well on this planet that's about to experience
Full of crumpets.
experience a lengthy drought. And they're like, yeah, if we do this right, you know, we won't technically be violating the Prime Directive. But it's like the whole reason the drought was happening in the first place was because some sort of like advanced mining colony had exploded or radiation. So basically it's like, look, this planet was already fucked up by space chicanery.
Yeah, that's the same loophole that we had in Gangster Planet and Nazi
Yeah,
Planet. Like,
but
if it's already been broken, you can go try to fix it.
That shouldn't even have to be a loophole, though, you know? It should just be like, yeah, no, this is matter of fact.
yeah, we fucked shit up.
We broke it, we should fix it. But I think that goes back to something you said a while ago, Jake. Oh, God, how did you phrase it?
He said, "Oh, baby, I hear the blues are calling."
Yes, the tossed salad and the scrambled eggs.
When we had touched on the Prime Directive at some point, it was during TNG, I know that much. You were talking about, like, another way to look at it is, you know, not protecting people, but just being sort of like, oh, God, I forget how you put it, but I really quite liked it.
Whatever.
I don't know.
It was
It's
sort of-
almost 10:30, so we
It'll
can
come
move
to
on.
you someday.
But you put it as like sort of like an issue of sort of first world privilege or something.
Well, I mean,
Being able to decide like, oh yeah, no, we don't want to have to bother with anything that we don't. Yeah, it's not so much about not wanting
Yeah,
to
they're
ruin anything.
abdicating responsibility.
Oh, you're talking about Heroin Planet. Is that the one we're talking about?
Was that
Probably.
the one? That might have been the one.
Symbiosis?
Possibly. But yeah, abdicating responsibility via the Prime Directive. And
Yeah.
Well, that was definitely one of the episodes where we talked about that.
Yeah, well,
Because he's kind of like trying to wash his hands of it by being like, well,
Yeah, and I mean, if you as the Federation have the ability to save a lot of people,
yeah.
you should probably do that.
Yeah, and especially in a case like that where they're a society that already has like a certain amount of interstellar flight and contact with other species and
Yeah, I think there should be a line. Like it shouldn't. Like the Prime Directive is far too black and white.
yeah.
If it's saving a planet from exploding or a volcano from wiping people out or what have you, fine.
it's
Yeah.
different from handing them advanced
Yeah.
weaponry.
Giving them phasers and photon torpedoes probably
Yeah, no, don't
a
do that.
little much.
And yeah, if you want to do it in a way that's sort of like maybe hopefully they don't notice us, which shouldn't be that fucking hard with your tech.
Pulling. Don't pull a Jameson is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, the people on the disco planet definitely saw them walking away, though. So
Yeah, that one
fucked
they
it up, too.
slightly fudged, but not too badly. The bug monsters are just like, huh, and there'll be legends of the two strangers and blah blah blah.
yeah,
Was
they
that
just
another
started
thing that
a
happened in
religion.
Orville?
The legend of the two strangers.
Sort of, but it was Kelly.
Interesting.
What's the Legend of the Two Strangers?
I just that's what the bug people would have made
Oh,
up.
I thought you were like quoting
Some
old
kind of trope.
Yeah.
No. Like it's not too hard to imagine that someday that culture will have that story. And yeah, that's potentially the worst you do is you've created a myth, and all right, maybe they base a religion around it, and then religion. Look, I'm just
And
saying.
then you return, and they're like, "You're my god." And you're like, "Whoops, lol."
You had to save the planet anyway because you broke the planet.
Well, Data is already a little bit breaking it by being in touch with this girl in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. That initial thing was a bad idea. I do love that Picard's reaction to it is
You
God.
brought a child.
No,
the oops.
the oops. Like, yeah, you just had one of your senior officers admit he like very willingly destroyed the Prime Directive, and your reaction is oops.
I love the way he said oops. Also.
Yeah, no, he
it
did.
was like a
We're not
brilliant
doing it
oops.
justice. But yes, no, I also love that later he seemed less upset that Data had kidnapped the child and more that he'd brought the child onto the bridge.
Yes.
You brought a
I
child.
don't know. He was. I think he was really pissed because when he was looking at, he wasn't looking at Data. He was looking
Yeah.
at Riker and like speaking through clenched teeth.
Yeah, like he brought. But that's me though.
It's
I
also
feel
a
like
child, and he hates
that's what I mean. I feel
children.
like the anger was less about the Prime Directive
Every
violation.
time Wesley walks on the bridge,
Yeah.
he's like, "There's a child on the
He
bridge."
clenches his cheeks
Yeah.
a little bit.
But that's what I mean though. It's like
Cheeks.
Butt cheeks.
the anger series seemed to be more about the child and the fact that wow, this has gone even further. This whole episode, bless Data, but like this whole episode is just Data making a series of increasingly poor decisions.
Dumb Data.
Up to here. We're
I
up to
love
here.
that.
Yeah.
I love
Up to
that
here.
so much. Every time we were up another level, it's
Yeah.
like, Picard, this is a really nice touch. This is a nice thing that your character has decided that he does.
Yeah, no, that it's fascinating. You know, I liked the discussion too, where he was like, "All right, so in this situation we do this, right? Of course. In this situation, then it's fine. Yeah. All right. Now what about now? What about now?
Mm-hmm.
What about now?" And that was a nice way
Yeah.
to.
Would you save planets at war? Would you do this?
Yeah, like when
Like, oh,
when is
That's
it?
right. There are lines.
Yeah,
We
when
cross them.
when is it going from being a good Samaritan to playing God?
Well, it's
The first one. The first one is the answer.
Well, yes. Yeah. No, that's true. But and then there's this the arbitrary line. I don't know if it's been explicitly stated if it's warp at this point because
I don't think it is yet.
Eventually, it becomes that the once the Prime Directive only applies up until you as a civilization has warp drive.
Yeah, and then once you have warp, fuck it.
Yeah, all bets are off.
Even though, you know.
You may not understand anything in the universe, and you have achieved warp way before you can handle it, but now you're in our bridge club.
They had warp before they had fire.
That's right.
I mean, there is a line in Insurrection that sort of implies that they still sort of like they'll make contact but kind of try to, it sounds like, ease people in.
Well, yeah, there's a really good episode later in this series that deals with that sort of thing.
Oh, neat.
With like a planet that's on the brink and how they deal with that.
Oh,
It's
cool.
pretty good.
You know what I liked? I liked Pulaski in this episode because she was basically at Bones level. Like when she were talking about the Prime Directive and you bloody idiots, like why can't you see that it's people's lives that are at stake? It's like, this is everything Bones would say.
Well, yeah, that was, I feel like...
Is your eyebrow twitching? No, it's not, but it's like it is.
Picard's like one of his first, escalation examples. What about a plague? She's like, yeah, duh.
What do you mean, what about a plague? Of course.
All in all, I'd call this one a successful outing for the old Starfleet Enterprise.
I like it.
Memory wiping is a thing now.
Yeah, that's weird.
That was weird.
Yeah.
That may have been weird and unnecessary.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. That was the one part I was just kind of like, really?
Like, I was like, if memory wiping has been an option at all ever, then nothing should be an issue in various episodes.
Yeah.
Well, they do it. It happens repeatedly.
Does it happen more?
Oh, yeah.
We see more memory wiping.
Oh my god. I don't want to spoil it.
Have you told me this already and you just wiped my memory
but
and I've forgotten?
But
Yes.
we won't get to it for a long time. We'll get to DS9, but there is a memory wipe that we'll rant about it because it's bad.
Wow. I mean, I know
the reasons for it are bad.
we have seen a memory wipe before, and that was when Spock took Kirk's memory of that chick out of his mind.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That was weird.
That was upsetting.
Oh, the Native American-ish woman?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
What the
was
fuck
right.
was
Was it
her
that
name?
one?
No.
No, it was the chick in Methuselah, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes?
I think it was
Yes.
that one.
Which one's Methuselah?
Where the, old dude had made a bunch of robot wives.
And Kirk fell in love with one of them in an instant.
It was the one where they had rebuilt Nomad with a new colander attachment.
I think it was that one.
It might have been.
I don't remember it.
But yeah,
It's
that was
gone.
really fucked up, that
Yeah.
bit. I
But
forgot
memory
about
wipings
that.
are just fucking weird no matter
Yeah,
what.
it's
Well,
a
now
fucked
they've
up
got
thing.
technology that does it.
But yeah, so...
And here's the thing, like, Pulaski's rationality behind it was, well, I have to look for certain neurons that were formed in a certain amount of time. So she just took everything from the girl's memory from the past 8 weeks that Data's been talking with her,
Presumably?
and now she has no idea what this fucking singing rock is from.
Yeah, no
She's
shit.
like, this thing is in my room, and it keeps singing!
Yeah, that's also...
And it says Love Data on it, and I don't know why!
And then she becomes a statistician.
She forms a religion around Data. That's good, Caitlin. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway,
What else was in my notes?
that you wanted to proceed directly to Q who, do not pass go, do not collect
No, I
200.
have one more. Picard was highly regretting not giving Data over to Maddox weeks ago. It's like, oh, god damn it, Data, you're ruining everything, and they should have let you dissect you.
I had my chance.
We saw Pony.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. Picard's sudden interest in horseback riding.
Yes, this is our only time in this season that we had a location shoot, apparently.
I will say...
the AVR in that, or ADR in that scene was...
ADR?
what does that stand for? Audio...
It's when they re-record dialogue later because there was too much ambient noise on the set or in the area.
Yeah, in the scene with him and
Troy.
it was just like, ooh, that's sticking out.
That's what it is. Okay, because I did notice that it was a little weird, and I was like,
I will say, even though I was just bitching about civilian clothing not that long ago, I kind of loved Picard's ugly sweater in that scene.
the riding jacket.
Really? The pants were... It looked
Oh,
like
not the pants.
Every part of him wanted out of those pants.
Yeah, no, not the pants. I just liked the big, weird, bulky sweater. It looked warm and comfy. It looked like something I'd like at my home on a winter's day.
If you're on the fucking holodeck, why are you riding a fucking stupid horse? Why don't you ride a fucking...
Elephant?
Or
Saber-toothed tiger.
a fucking unicorn.
Jet horse.
Something awesome.
You could ride a Pegasus.
You could ride a fucking Pegasus with rainbows coming out of its ass.
You could ride
I don't need the rainbow assholes,
a
but
Pegasus.
Pegasus?
it's a pig with wings.
You could ride fucking Falcor, dude.
That's true.
You could fly around on fucking Falcor.
And I'd have the holodeck play the theme song.
Never-ending
story.
I now have this great mental image of Captain Picard riding Falcor going, woo!
And he goes and he makes those bullies all scared and they hide in the dumpster because they're jerks and His fucking kid's name was Bastion, though.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's asking your kid to wind up a nerdy shut-in.
Didn't we
Or
rewatch
a
this
Bastion
recently?
name.
And I said it doesn't hold up.
That movie doesn't hold up, no.
Okay.
Dude, you know what does hold up?
Hugh.
The fucking despair of when that horse dies.
You know what? I didn't
The
care.
horse in the swamp is
I'm
so
not
sad.
I'm trying to remember if I ever cared, but I probably did. But
Ames, are you a sociopath?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
What was the mother's name? He yells
Mom?
something. No. Or the girl's
What's her
name.
maiden name?
It was the girl's
What's
name,
her,
but it was
What's her
mom's
first name? I've only known her as Ma.
What was it? No, the girl's name. Say my name! Please!
That's Beyonce, wasn't it? Say my name, say my name, when no one is around you. Was that Destiny's Child?
I think it was.
Yeah, all right, it was
think so.
Beyonce. It's Queen Bey.
Who? Q-Who.
Ah.
Yeah. That was terrible.
This is a good episode, though. I liked
Q-Who? You liked Q-Who?
I liked it. Yeah.
Q-Who.
I didn't realize it was coming, though. Like, I just suddenly, they were like, oh yeah, this is the Borg. And I was like, holy fuck, right now?
Yep.
Holy shit.
We're getting Borged. They look
Yeah.
pretty good.
The Borg only show up, like, what, 2 more times?
I
3?
don't remember.
I don't know.
And
They
then
don't
they're
show up
in,
that much in the series?
No.
Spoilers.
and then they're in every 5th episode of Voyager.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Like, the Borg are great because
they're far away.
they're far away, they're terrifying, and when they do show up, shit gets fucked.
and real.
And they make
Fucking
really
real.
cute Borg babies.
And they make little cute Borg babies.
That's the only way babies should
It
be
was
made.
so fucking cute. I couldn't stop looking at it. I was like, you're so cute. We rewatched it. We had to go back. I was like, look at the fucking little shit they put on this baby. It was so funny. I know, Ames. I know you didn't share this feeling. But
I liked that it was a machine. That's what I liked about it.
No, it wasn't. It was a baby that they didn't implants.
Exactly.
The baby's like 30 now. There's somewhere out there, there's a guy who's claim to fame.
He was Borg baby.
He was Borg baby.
That's great.
And
He
never...
was probably like the Key Grip's kid or something.
Oh, yeah.
He was wicked cute anyway. I thought it was really funny. I thought the fucking little hat and the fucking... I was just like, stop. Borg babies shouldn't be this cute. That's fucked up and wrong. They should be horrifying. But then I was thinking about it too, because I was picturing what I thought it was going to look like based on what the adult Borg looked like. And I was like, oh man, how are they going to get that thing over the kid's eye? Babies don't want to sit still for this shit.
Just a little hat.
And then they cut to it and I'm like, oh, okay. So, I don't know. I just thought it was adorable.
So here's the question though, right? The Borg are a hive mind. Presumably,
I love that about them.
the babies are also linked into it. There's moments where enough of the babies have tantrums at once that the whole collective is just in a mood.
Borg babies don't have tantrums.
No, I think they don't.
They fucking the wiring that they do in the beginning removes the tantrums. That's why they got to get them hooked up right away.
Okay, but then in that case, at the very least, do the Borg occasionally just have an urge to just watch Frozen on a loop?
Is someone breastfeeding these children?
Did somebody have to fuck to make these children?
I actually wondered that also. Where do these babies come from?
I feel like there was a reference when I was researching this episode that the babies are stolen from other places or something.
I
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
I think they have
Well,
to
it's
have
too
been
bad
assimilated.
because if the whole hive mind got their fuck on, or even two people just
Oh,
in the hive mind got their
everyone
fuck
would
on,
orgasm
everybody
together.
would be coming. It'd be
if
great.
2 Borg banged, would that just be masturbating?
Actually,
Ooh,
also,
good eyebrow, Jake.
Also, if 2 Borg bang and the guy gets off to make the to impregnate the female,
Female?
it must be Italian. That means that the whole hive mind comes, which means the Borg are the only species in the whole fucking universe that get their women to come every time. Guaranteed. I like it.
There you go.
How many Borg does it take to screw in a light bulb?
All of them.
Resistance is futile.
That was good.
I don't know where that came from. Anyway,
who knows where thoughts come from, Ames? They just appear.
Yes. Speaking of the Borg and stuff, we see this planet after Q has shot us into presumably the Delta Quadrant. I'm
No,
guessing
they're only 2 years away.
somewhere
Yeah,
far
it
enough
wasn't
away.
super far away, which is interesting.
And they see a planet that's had all of their mechanics taken away from it because that's what Borg does. They like metal and shiny objects because they're basically babies.
They like
Or ravens.
Baby,
It's the Borg
it's the babies. The babies want the shiny things. But they say, oh, this is just like those planets we saw in the neutral zone from the episode, The Neutral Zone. The Borg was in the neutral zone.
Yep.
The Borg are the ones that were taking out the
the colonies, because they said
The
they're-
Romulan outposts and
Yeah,
shit?
it was
Oh.
And I have a very interesting theory. This can probably be elaborated upon in a future episode, but I'll start it. I'll lay the seed now.
Okay.
Your space
Not
seed.
We'll come back in 100
Right.
years.
In 100 years, we'll come back and see what fruit is born from this seed.
That's right. All right. So the Borg, who we know, well, we don't know right now, but eventually we learn that the Borg are from on the far end of the galaxy, very far away. But they've been snooping around the Romulan neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
Taking out colonies. Well, what piece of technology that we recently learned about
Cloaking device.
is in the Romulan neutral zone? That
Vending machine.
That if the
Oh.
Borg had it, would be fucking badass.
That, the thing, the data...
Oh,
thing.
the
the
Ionian...
Iconian Gateway.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's my theory. That the Borg learned about, possibly through
Smoothie
assimilating
maker.
some sort of civilization that knew about the Iconians, that the Iconians were based somewhere in this neutral zone area, so they sent their ship out to go look for it. They don't find it. So they start heading home. Q sends the Enterprise over there.
Yeah.
Encounter the Enterprise. They scan the Enterprise. They look, this ship's
Been to Iconia.
into Iconia. This could be interesting. Let us pursue this line of investigation.
Really?
Find out all we can. And I'm just going to lay this little seed here of all the people on the Enterprise that know about the Iconian Gateway. Who knows the most?
Data.
Picard.
Picard.
Doesn't Data know
Very
more?
interesting.
Picard likes archaeology. Data just knows everything, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but Data was actually, like, finger-banging the thing.
Data was blind.
Yeah, he got all zappity fucked.
And now he can see?
Blue, blue, blue. Red, blue.
He's so good.
Simon.
Damn it, Brent Snyder, you're so good.
I like that, though. That's
That's a
really
good
interesting.
theory.
Yeah. So anyway, that's sort of my thought that perhaps the extent of the Borg's interest in Earth and in humanity in general may only be
Picard.
to try and get the information relating to the Iconian Gateway. Because honestly, if the Borg had access to that technology,
Oh, yeah, everybody'd be fucked.
everybody would be fucked.
Like-
they could take over everywhere.
Yeah, no.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, but this starts to feel almost Star Warsian because, like, Q is super obsessed with Picard also. Now the Borg are just, like, obsessed with Picard because he's got this info.
Well, that's a coincidence, though. He just happens to have the information.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I don't hate it. I love the theory. I think it's a
that's
brilliant
good.
theory. I just don't like...
Oh, also, this episode, very important, the first indication that Guinan is...
Not people.
Guinan
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah,
Guinan
she was.
great
She was
in
awesome.
this episode.
But
You
yeah...
know, you know what I read about Guinan? Before they knew that they were going to have Whoopi on board to be the bartender character, Jean, because Jean, requested that character be the hottest woman imaginable.
And they succeeded. So...
Fucking
the old pervert.
Jean.
You couldn't get Ilea back?
She might have passed away by then. She died very young.
Had she died?
How?
Heart attack, I want to say?
What the
Ooh.
fuck?
I think we talked about this.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
we did.
remember
Oh,
now.
I
Yeah, but
forgot.
she
That's
died
awful.
in her, like, early to mid-40s, I want to say.
What the fuck? That shouldn't be a
Yeah,
thing.
that's a shame.
Well, we
Anyway.
certainly didn't use our new ensign, Sonia Gomez.
Oh!
I read her actress, Licia Naff, I can't read my writing, played the three-breasted woman on Total Recall.
Oh, wow.
I love the three-breasted woman.
I
course
don't like
you
this
do.
character, though.
It's 50% more to
I
love than her.
I
there.
love her 1.5 times as much as any other woman.
We really are the same fucking person. Jesus.
Sonia Gomez, on the other hand.
Sonia Gomez. So here's the
Dear
thing.
God.
I have a lot of fucking theories. This is going to be conspiracy theory corner on
I'm
this
fine.
Tinfoil hat corner.
So my tinfoil hat theory on so I was going to say Selena Gomez. On Sonia Gomez.
I kept thinking that too.
Is that they had intended for her to become a recurrent...
Oh, they did, and they gave up after, what, twice?
Yeah, she's only in 2 episodes, I think. For her to... But, like, because, yeah, having a hapless, doofusy engineer is okay, but she sucks as a character. But they eventually resurrect the character
As Tilly.
No.
Oh.
As
I was kind of
as
thinking that.
Barkley, I think.
Oh.
He's another character that shows up in a little while that we'll meet, who's the socially awkward engineer buffoon that Geordi has to take under his wing.
Yeah.
This sounds just like Tilly, too, though.
Tilly's competent.
Is she?
Yeah,
Yes.
dude, she's really good at her job.
Yeah.
She's just annoying.
Yeah.
She grew on me.
No, me too. Me too. I like her now, but in the beginning, that's because I feel like she's gotten exponentially less annoying.
I like
Yeah.
Killy better than Tilly.
Oh well, obviously,
Yeah.
her tits looked great.
And here's the thing also, is Replicator hot chocolate not hot?
I said the same thing.
Chris literally made the same point.
Because, yeah, like, I mean...
But I said that what it does is it makes it already at the perfect drinking temperature.
Yeah, the
so
right
there are
temperature.
No more
But
mouth
see,
burning in the
that's
future.
what I said, though.
I
Is
would
like,
love that.
the perfect drinking temperature for hot chocolate or tea or coffee or whatever is fine, but still way too hot for me to have spilled on my junk because the stain went all the way down to his crotch and be
But then
like...
she fondled it for him.
Actually, I think by default, the Replicator produces, anytime you order a hot beverage, it's tepid. It's just like room temperature. Because notice how whenever Picard orders tea, he has to specify he wants it hot.
Yeah, but she ordered hot chocolate.
But she didn't order hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. Hot.
That I actually kind of like that idea. Like the machine is a little too like cautious, which is why he has to specify.
Well, it's just like there were too many lawsuits.
I was literally just gonna say they got sued for hot coffee.
They kept
That
putting it
woman
between their
took
legs
real
when they
damage,
drove.
though.
She did.
That woman took real damage.
All right,
though,
we're
was
not
the thing.
belittling that woman.
I just wanted to make sure because I almost made the same joke, and I just want the world to know that woman suffered like fucking third degree burns all over her fucking legs.
But that's the thing, though. That case was misrepresented in the media because they made it sound like, she was just it was hot coffee. But it wasn't that it was hot coffee that she spilled. It was that
too hot.
That it was coffee that was
like
prepared
130 degrees.
prepared
or
at
some
a
shit.
very unsafe
Yeah, it
temperature.
never should have been given to anyone at that temperature.
Yeah, and there was also defective cups.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Well, it was a design flaw. The cups that McDonald's used at that time derived all of their strength from the lid.
Oh.
No.
They did not.
No
have,
one puts a lid on correctly
like,
when
if
you order
would-
a beverage.
So yeah, exactly. And obviously, lids are at fast food restaurants are often ill-fitting.
Yeah, no, they're shit.
So
I just got a baked potato from Wendy's recently, and the lid was off, and I got cheese everywhere.
well, good thing it wasn't scalding hot cheese on your lap.
Yeah, I feel really bad for her.
So I had thought they introduced Sonia Gomez just so they could kill her. Like, it felt like that was going to be the point of her.
Well, yeah, because she was like the optimistic.
Yeah, like, let's go
get her.
explore
Like
and see
Scotty's
things.
nephew.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were going to Scotty's
Oh,
I was
nephew.
rest in
hoping she'd be
peace,
one of the
Scotty's
18
nephew.
people that got presumably abducted by the Borg and are now part of the Borg.
They may have just died when those sections were pulled out of the ship and decompressed.
I feel like there's a retcon somewhere, or maybe a novel or something, that the 18 people are now just Borg.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that at least some of them, if not all 18, are Borg.
That looked pretty good, though.
Yeah, that
didn't
was
it?
good.
That was good.
Oh, when they sliced the little piece
Yeah.
out of the top of the ship, that
And
did
then,
look nice.
pulled it. But it was interesting because they only got a few decks.
Yeah.
They didn't go all the way through.
Yeah. Well, I didn't need it. I just needed a small sample.
Yeah.
I just wanted a
suppose.
tasting course.
Sure.
This episode, it won Emmys for sound editing and mixing.
Sure.
And got an nom nom for special visual effects, because the visual effects looked really good.
Yeah, they were.
I loved the set on the Borg ship. That looked really cool.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
It was really like, because I had obviously never seen this before, and I was just like chilled. I was like, oh my god. Especially when all the ones were just like standing there, like not moving, because they were like part of the hive mind at the time, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I hate this fucking ship. It's horrifying.
It's been a long time since I've seen TNG Borg. Like, my most recent experience would have been, Voyager and First Contact and things like that, where they got sort of done over a little. And they're still effective, even though the costumes are way more simple. I wasn't sure if they would lose some of their impact when they looked a little
Simple.
lower budget.
Apparently that forearm weighed 40 pounds.
That is not a surprise.
I mean, it
And
had,
the
like
episode-
batteries and shit in it.
And the
Yeah.
episode went $50,000 over budget, which is why they had to do Shades of Grey, which I'm sure Jake will tell us about later when we get to that episode.
Oh.
Interesting.
Because they ran out of the monies.
It's because they were working so hard to make all them Borg look like leather daddies. I don't know what the fuck was going on
Delancey
there.
doesn't work for free, so...
No,
Delancey's so good. He was so great in this.
Okay.
I loved his splay on the
Q?
floor.
That was amazing
Yes.
when he was on the bridge rail there.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And then
love
when
that.
he switched places with Data,
And then
was on the
Data
bridge rail.
splaying.
But he was like,
Oh.
wait, I'm splaying, what?
You should splay more Data.
So Conspiracy Corner.
Another one. This is so many
Guinan
corners.
is a member of the Continuum.
I was thinking this too.
Didn't I say that?
This is my
Might
tinfoil.
have.
I did, because he was like, you, and I was like, holy shit, is she a Q? I said this!
So this is, there's not a lot of corroborating evidence for this, other than
Because we eventually learn more about her, I think.
well, we learn sort of. We learn some stories about her. We know that she belongs. We know that she claims to be a member of a very long-lived species.
Of like listeners, right?
A species of listeners.
Yes. Which is why she's infinitely better than
But
Troy.
I
But who
submit
isn't?
that
Wesley.
a species of listeners is like, because Q was legitimately afraid of her.
Yeah.
Like,
Was he afraid of her? Or was she afraid of him?
no, he was like, get this thing off your ship. She's dangerous.
Oh, that's true. He did say that.
No, he was afraid of her.
Yeah, she was afraid of the Borg.
Yeah, and she was afraid of the Borg, and like she had like some hand gesture, like she was gonna
Yeah.
like force lightning him
Yeah.
at one point. I contend, and we should keep this in the back of our minds as we have more Guinan episodes.
There better be many more Guinan episodes.
That she is in fact a member of the Continuum, and
Why doesn't she use her powers ever
well,
to save them from the Borg?
because I think that. Guinan,
Has she been,
that
like-
she is she's the anti-Q, right? If Q is like the mischievous,
She's A and he's Q.
yeah,
The chaotic neutral, she's the...
yeah. I feel like she has renounced her powers, and that like either because she didn't think she could control them, or she's distanced herself from the Continuum,
Or she's left in dishonor or something.
and
they
she's
took
chosen to
them from
live
her.
life among mortals. So whether she has powers or doesn't, but there's a lot of fucking weird shit with Guinan, and we'll see a lot more of it eventually. But keep that in mind.
Alternately, she's not a Q. She's another super advanced being. She's Trelane's mom.
Yes.
And he's been, him and Trelane are old schoolyard buddies.
That's why Q is Trelane's godfather.
And he's seen her when she gets mad, and that's why he's like, oh fuck.
True.
Because him and Trelane used to play baseball together as wee demigod kids.
gas clouds. Alright, I'm into it. I'm into either of these theories.
All right.
Or both. Porque no los dos.
Or she's an Organian.
There's so we're to 3 tinfoils.
So many at this point.
There's a lot of foil.
Foil
Foiled again.
Ah.
But so this episode had a lot going on.
Quite a bit. Laying some groundwork.
Laying some pipe.
No. Well, actually, there were a lot of pipes in the Borg ship, so.
Someone had to lay those pipes. Riker's just the man for the job.
But, like, let's just talk about the Borg for a minute. Like, how fucking terrifying an adversary the Borg.
Yeah, and they got the hive mind, so they're not individuals.
No.
Their ship is decentralized, so you can blow up 20% of it,
It'll be fine.
and they'll be fine, and they'll fix it
Yeah,
while
and it
they're
fucking
chasing
knits
you.
itself.
Yeah.
That was creepy.
Yeah.
Yep. It is so funny to see them back again when they are actually a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And not just one of the villains you see 8 times a season.
Yeah, it's
Like-
not like,
Like Voyager,
Ferengi.
where they just show up all the fucking time, and it's just like, I feel nothing when I see you now.
yeah.
It's sort of
it's the Dalek.
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, it's the Dalek.
You used to get a Dalek
What would
story
you call that?
problem, I guess.
Syndrome.
But yeah, it's like you used to get a Dalek story once every couple of years. Like, rarely enough that with the original Doctors, some of them only encountered Daleks once in their whole time. And now in the newer they've actually kind of used them less in the last couple of years, which is
But
good.
for the first 6 years or something,
it was guaranteed there'd be at
every
least
season.
one major
Every
Dalek
season.
story.
And in the case of Eccleston's series, not only did one show up randomly to introduce you to the idea, they were the big bad at the end.
Yeah,
You
it's
I also feel like they do that with the Cybermen, too, on Doctor Who. Like,
Well, they've done that more recently. That wasn't as much a thing until later in the new series.
Moffat's run, he kind of started using them more often.
Because they showed up in, season 2?
Yep.
And were kind of a big bad.
Yeah, and they were used very effectively there.
And the Cybermen are also basically the Borg, so...
Well, I know we haven't gotten to it yet.
Well, Doctor Who did it first.
It's true.
They actually, I think it's in Best of Both Worlds, but there's definitely a later Borg episode in TNG where someone involved in the production acknowledged that, because when you see a readout of names, it includes the names of the then incumbent 7 doctors. Like the actors'
kinda
names.
cool.
It's like a Hartnell and a Troughton and so forth and so on.
That's neat.
I think it's Best of Both Worlds.
That's nice.
That's really cool.
Although, being fair, as much as the Cybermen may have influenced the Borg also heavily influenced the Cybermen in the new series.
Yeah.
Because when you watch old Doctor Who, while the Cybermen do occasionally take and turn people into Cybermen, it's less their sort of reason for being. Whereas in the newer series, they're all about assimilating people.
Which is stupid, because you already have... I mean, the Daleks aren't interested in assimilating, but they're interested in killing everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to
It
say
feels-
this. Oh, sorry, continue your
The
sentence.
Doctor Who has nothing to do with
I was
Star
going to
Trek.
say, yes, this isn't a Dr. Wow Star Trek.
Dr. Wow. That sounds like a Doctor Who porn parody if I ever heard of one. Check out my sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
No, Coctor Who.
Coctor...
I mean, it sort of ties in there. There is the
hardly
inevitable
know
history of the connection between the Borg and the Cybermen.
Sure, but I don't care. I
We
do
should-
know...
we should watch a fucking Cyberman episode, a good one, and make that a 10 forward. Because then we could discuss the similarities.
I thought the recent one was pretty good.
I haven't seen it. Go on.
Still don't care. Speaking of the Borg and their powers and how we don't see them terribly, terribly often, and that's why they make a great super villain.
Yes.
The producers stated that because the Borgs are so overpowered, they couldn't put them in very many episodes because there's only so many ways you can defeat them
Yeah.
without, running out of ideas. Like, okay, we want to use the Borg again, but we have to not get stuck with Borg stuff.
Yeah.
So we have to
Try
escape.
Goldust.
I mean, they honestly never really ever defeat the Borg properly.
There is no defeating the Borg.
There is no defeating
Not
the Borg.
really.
Because they keep coming, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, they're a hive mind. It's not like, and they serve only one purpose. They're driven and
They like sharks.
nothing. Yeah, they're like, no, they're not like sharks. They're like, they're like hornets or wasps.
Hate hornets.
Right? Like,
Yeah, but sharks are only driven to eat.
no, they're friend. Sharks are friend.
I'm not saying
Sharks are
people. I'm just saying eat. Their main drive is like swim to
Well,
keep
that's like-
Mm.
alive.
That's
and
like my main drive.
That's most living
That's
things'
it.
main drive.
I'm just thinking in terms of like fucking shit up though. Like,
Yeah, fuck wasps.
hornets don't fuck shit up.
well, wasps do.
Mosquitoes.
I hate mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes suck.
See, mosquitoes suck. Wasps and hornets, they just want to do their thing. If you get in the way, they'll sting you.
So much.
Mosquitoes hunt you down and want your blood.
I had a fucking wasp, and I'm pretty sure it was the same wasp. I got stung on one wrist, and then on the other wrist on a walk by, like twice. Like I went down
And
the
when
stairs.
you looked at the rash, it said, "Fuck you!"
Yeah. Yeah. It was really weird.
But that's the
Borg.
thing, yeah. You like, if you do manage to, say, destroy a cube, that's...
There's many, many...
Yeah, that's nothing.
Consequential.
You've like, it'd be like if you had an enemy in front of you and you clipped their toenail.
Yeah.
It doesn't even hurt them. They're just like, yeah.
Thanks, I wanted to clip that anyway.
Yeah.
Now I can go back and salvage all the material and use it for something else.
Ooh.
Something even more cool.
Salvaging toenails.
Yeah, sadly, I guess they really overdid it in the books to the extent that apparently they have now successfully liberated the entire Borg species
Oh, no.
What?
and ended them. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's dumb.
I know, that's kind of interesting.
Janeway was happy about that.
I'm sure the way they did it was
Genocidal
silly.
bitch.
Pour one out for Tuvix.
Yeah. Janeway.
But yeah, no, it is, because again, I haven't seen any of these in so long. It's nice to see sort of the root of it and like, oh yeah, this is when they were like new and scary and it still works.
Yeah, they're creepy as fuck.
Yeah, they're really
As
scary.
the uninitiated, they're really creepy.
Yeah. Babies are cute though.
The
babies
baby
are
was
cute.
super fucking
So
cute.
weird.
I
had
also like the way
bizarre.
that they when they took one of them out, and
Yeah.
then the other one just appeared and continued what the first one was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
on the
like-
Enterprise.
Like they don't give a fuck.
Nope.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to take your eyepiece because someone else is going to need this.
Yeah. We
And
need
we're
some
not
of these
even going to
bits.
hurt you. Like you guys, we're not going to fight back.
Not right now.
We're not. We're only going to hurt you when we want to eat you,
Yeah.
which will be soon.
Do they literally eat them?
No, they assimilate them.
They assimilate them. They add
Do they
them.
know? Do they know what Data is yet? Do they see him as Tech?
I don't. Well, that will come up.
This will probably spoil other episodes, I bet.
You know,
but
don't tell me.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I
But
want to
that's
be
something-
unspoiled.
The issue
As someone
comes up.
who hasn't seen the future episodes, I'm just
The
like,
issue
Data.
is
Data
addressed.
is Tech.
Data is addressed.
Okay, we'll get to there one day then. What else have I got?
This is the best of the 4 episodes. 2 episodes.
4
Fuck.
episodes.
This is the best episode we've seen in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean,
It was also nice, we were talking about it earlier, to see, like, Sinister Q again. Because in his first appearance, he's sort of goofy, but...
Sinister Q. Sinister Q.
Donut.
Works.
Like, he starts off sort of being goofy, but then he quickly switches to Sinister.
In this episode or
In
all of
Farpoint.
Q?
In Farpoint.
In Farpoint.
And then in his next appearance, he's mostly ridiculous. You know, he's mostly goofy.
that's a silly episode.
Yeah. In this one, though, he's just like... It's quite sinister, and they let it show. There are moments where they light him very sort of dark and villainous.
He just
and this and that.
appears constantly where other people were.
Yeah, this reminder that, he is sort of a malevolent force.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's weird, right? Because he is kind of, in a weird way, doing
Sexy.
a
Oh, go
favor.
on.
True, I don't think he meant to, but yes.
I think.
Well, I think Picard even kind of says that at the end.
Yeah, like now we know they're out there.
I mean, there's definitely Q
And they're
definitely
coming.
has, and we'll see this in the future, I think, as well. Some shades of gray, where
Yeah.
where he's not just a villain. I mean, he's an adversary for sure.
Yeah.
But he's also has some amount of compassion
Mm.
in some respect, but I think he has a weird way of showing it.
Yeah.
Well, in this
it's
episode,
weird,
he's
but-
just a narcissist.
Well, in this episode, he starts off and his motivation is is he kicked out of the continuum
Supposedly.
for fucking up the Riker thing?
I don't know if we can believe him, but that's what he says.
True. He is a pathological liar.
Yeah, he's one of the most unreliable narrators ever.
Which is great because he's a sociopath and he wants to, for how much you can believe him, he wants to be on the Enterprise.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I believe that either.
And it's like, what do you tell an omnipotent being when he wants to be on your crew? You're like, this is a terrible idea. I don't know how to say no to you in a way that will not screw everything up.
Yeah, I think you would probably say to him the same thing that you would say to someone who asks if you're a god.
Sonia Gomez.
Yes. God bless you.
Man. Yeah, this really would have been not a perfect episode, but it certainly would have been
Better without Sonia? Yeah.
a lot better without Sonia. Like,
It was too
Yeah.
bad.
She's kind of like Okana, and it's a thing that they really wanted you to like, but you're like, I can't fucking
That's what
like
happens when you try too hard, man.
I will say, though, if, I know they didn't do anything with either of them, which is fine, but if you put a gun to my head and retroactively one of them had to happen, Gomez.
over Okona.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Mm.
I hated him so much.
But we'd see more of Gomez because she'd be on the ship.
I don't care.
Okano we might only see once in a while.
That's
Yeah, but I
nope,
feel
still
like
fine.
we could have got kind of a cute, like a romance between she and Geordi, though. if
Don't
we-
say that.
Why?
Jordy's bad with women.
No, I know he is, but maybe...
What does he do to them? Jesus
Maybe if
Christ.
she-
Well, he
Maybe
kind of
if-
stalks them and is a creepy holodeck pervert.
Maybe if she'd
Does it
been
count
there...
if it's on the holodeck?
It's still creepy.
Maybe if she'd been there, he would have had a good, steady relationship and never turned into a creepy guy.
That's what I mean.
He'll also
maybe
become
she could
obsessed with a
fix
dead
him,
girl
guys.
Creepy.
Ew.
later. Yeah, he has some creepy shit.
Well, I mean, Data's obsessed with a dead girl.
She's not dead.
Tasha Yar?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the little girl on the planet.
No. I wasn't trying to go back to that. That's creepy.
Okay, well, best of
On
both
that
worlds.
note?
No, that wasn't. That was a different.
That's
Borg
a different episode.
Yeah.
Q-hoo. Q-hoo.
I was...
Yeah, they got a title of the Q episodes better.
No, they won't.
They
They
never
never
will.
do. It's always just shoving the letter Q into with another word or two that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
All right, the
Heightened
next one should
Q.
be Go Fuck Yourself, but where the CK is a Q.
I think there's one called Q2.
Q squared.
That actually makes somewhat amount of sense, but most of them don't.
X to the power of Q.
Yep.
Cubert? Wait, no.
Ooh.
Cubed.
Cupid.
Cupid. That's an episode.
That works.
Is
Maybe.
it?
It's actually
Stop.
it's an actual Q episode. Actually,
Stop.
that was fun. That's a fun episode.
Ames is gonna hate it.
Come on.
Oh
But
no.
with Q, does Q make it okay?
Q makes it okay, and Worf makes it okay.
Worf.
Oh, Worf's great.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's alright. I like
It's
him.
alright. I'm still not as
Worf
impressed by
comes-
Q as you by Q.
Worf
Worf.
comes into
I am
his
impressed
own.
by Q.
I
Worf
was gonna say, you're more impressed by Q than any of the rest of us, Ames.
Worf really
Yeah.
hasn't blossomed into the man he was meant to be, but he will.
Yay.
And you'll love him. But that is for another day. For we are completed our journey here today on this.
Q has brought us back to the right quadrant of space.
We have steered towards her star.
We don't have to spend 2 years traveling back with fucking Sonia
It
on
says
board.
you're wearing constellations today.
I am.
Pretty cool.
Thank you.
That's a star to steer her by.
Thank you. It's a lot of stars to steer her by. Yes.
Yeah, quite. Well, next week we'll be talking about 2 new episodes.
Brand new episodes.
One of which I have fond memories of,
sorry.
and
Just
one
footsie.
I think is pretty bad. And you'll have to wait to find out which one is which. We'll be talking about the Samaritan Snare and Up the Long Ladder.
Oh, no.
I wonder which one that is.
And these will be coming up next week on A Star to Steer Her By. You can find us on StarTrek.com. Fuck.
No. No, I don't think you can.
Facebook.com/Star Trek. Nope. That's not what it is either. Why am I just saying Star Trek?
Star Trek
all over your face. All right. No, you can find us on Facebook.com/A Star to Steer. No, it's slash. Is it? Is it actually slash?
Just look up A Star to Steer Her By on
Search
Facebook.
for A Star to
We'll be
Steer
there.
Her By on Facebook. You can find us there. You can also find us on Twitter at SSHB Podcast. You can find us on Tumblr, SSHB Podcast. That's the one. We're on there. We don't post all the time, but when we do, it's usually good. If you like this podcast that you're listening to, you're probably already on SoundCloud. But if you're not, find us on SoundCloud. And if you don't want to find us there, find us on... Why do we put this in every episode? If they're listening to the podcast, they know how to find it!
That's true, actually.
We spend a lot of time on this every week.
It's just
And
what
they
everyone
know.
knows.
Jake, you spend a lot of time on this every week.
It takes like 40
We are
minutes
just
to get
amused
through
by watching
telling
you
people
do
how
it.
to download the podcast they've already downloaded. Anyway.
Maybe it's just in case someone is listening to this really loud at their desk at work, which is inadvisable. We say fisting a lot.
Fisting.
Fisting.
Someone overhears it and they're like, I'd like to listen to this wacky porn podcast.
I'd like to try fisting.
Oh, you're listening to the Fisting Hour with Jake?
A Star to Fister By.
That's Jake's other podcast.
A star to steer her. A brown star to steer her
Oh,
by.
no!
A fisting
A
podcast.
brown star to Fister By.
But yes, we're also on iTunes and Google and
iTunes,
whatever.
Google. You know, actually, here's why we remind people about it. Because you should go on there right now to iTunes.
yes.
Give us the old 5-star special. Or the 4. No, 5. Or whatever. Do what you want. Write a thing, though. Write a good thing.
Yeah.
Write a bad thing. I don't fucking care. Or post us a blog. Do you have a blogger?
What?
WordPress? Blog us. Give us a blog.
Have you had a stroke?
Write a blog post about your favorite podcasts and make it about us. How about that? That's a
you
good
go.
one. So do what you want. Tell your buddies about us. You got buddies, you got friends, you got family. You
Play
got
us really loud at work.
moms, dads, children, pets. No, pets don't listen.
They might.
But you know,
Ours don't.
do stuff.
Ours don't.
Listen to the podcast. It's pretty cool. Some episodes are better than others. This was a good week. I don't know. You do what you want. I'm Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
And this is always Caitlin.
I need a soda.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, we gotta find a way to get out of these episodes again.